And a goddamn person who can make a black man apologize for an oppression that they had nothing to do with.
What the happened with the NFT shit?
I never told people to buy NFTs. I told them to create them. The crypto market is in the winter. The NFT market is in the dumps. The world markets are in the dumps.
Right.
But
do you think that Malcolm X could have saw rap and used that as a tool?
I think what rap do is it take our mind away from the things we need to be focused on, not towards. Ain't no more gangsters in the rap. Ain't everybody that say they gangster is bullyism based on them being able to kill another black man. You got $1 billion, $100 million. Right now you have enough money to actually control the voice of black America. Right. As long as our oppression is your business model, then you're responsible for that because you're capitalizing off our death. Black men actually take all their talents to Jewish people, asking them to manage their money, asking them to manage their funds, asking them to manage their legal, asking them to manage their creativity. White guilt spiked at the all-time highest level in the history of the world.
That is 100%.
That's what George Floyd died.
I said, I don't want a sneaker deal, because the minute I say something that makes those people mad, they're going to take my sneakers away. And the whole crowd's like, ha, 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 ha. But now you see Kanye walking around L.A. barefoot with his chain out.
With the chain out.
This guy lost $1.5 billion in a day. $1.5 billion in a day. I saw that. I said, put your chain on, nigga. Welcome back. It shouldn't be this scary to talk about anything. It's making my job incredibly difficult. To be honest with you, I'm getting sick of talking to a crowd like this. I love you to death. And I thank you for your support. And I hope they don't take anything away from me. Whoever they are. We got a great show tonight. Brooklyn's finest.
You know, I appreciate that from so many different ways because it's pressure involved with that. See, some people only judge that based on the creativity. I judge that based on the atmosphere, based on everything that he got to pull to even muster up and to go on SNL with the vibration though.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, damn, Dave
Chappelle, one of the most fearless to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you watch his career, he's always making the type of statements that a revolutionary makes.
Right.
But he does it in his manner, which is jokes.
Yes.
Which is storytelling.
Yes.
Which is laughter. And at the same time, we call them jokes, but really they're not jokes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We laugh at it because it's so serious.
Exactly.
You know
Because what is a joke?
Yeah,
what really is that?
It's observable pain.
Right.
You understand? When sometimes stuff's so painful, you got to laugh to relieve it. You know what I'm saying? So the punchline hits, you know what I mean, because it's true.
Right.
That's all.
Right. And I think he's always operated in that way. For me, he's always been a communicator, like I just said, that doesn't have to race to meet you where you are. He has the ability to bring you to his frequency, which is a very slowed down, I want to come into this world and let me, like you said, develop around what your understanding is and create a new understanding as to what I'm viewing.
And it always feels dangerously close to the edge.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what makes it like, ugh.
He gonna say it?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna say it.
every time. Every time, man. Yeah, man. So welcome to another episode of the Experience Podcast, where you must have the experience to be on the podcast. I am Big Loon. I'm sitting with one of the most influential guys in black culture right now. Thought leader, my guy, 19 Keys. What's going on, brother?
I appreciate you having me, man.
You know the vibration hot, man.
Made it here.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man. We always run into each other. You always show me love. It's always been salute. You know, I show up when you don't even know I'm in the area. I got your number. Sometimes I don't even call you. I just show up to support. I'm in the crowd. I salute you. You know, with your vibe, I think it's been a while since we had that type of, right? I seen the conscious type of thing come, but you doing it in a way that's more relatable to us, right? I've seen the brother Polites and the brother Ben X's and things they've came and I salute them what they do. But something about you, right, is able to translate to the guys like me, right, the ones that don't come out the trap. Ain't no need to come out the trap. I'm okay with worst case scenario because I don't know no better, right? But your message has been able to penetrate the minds of the guys that sit there, right? And I always wanted to let you know from my perspective, because I got the streets, you know what I'm saying? And I also got guys like you that respect my intellect, and I respect your intellect. But I think those words, I almost feel like we on some Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan shit, but not against each other in the match. We are tag teaming up to try to influence the culture in a way to elevate and evolve. Mm-hmm. What do you think the culture sits right now, and what's your message to the young dudes that's trying to come up out of?
I think to quote Kyrie, Irving, man, it's find your tribe season. You know, I think that's very important. I've been having a message about understanding the difference between race and ethnicity lately.
Yes.
Right? Because there's many people that are of the same race, but our ethnic backgrounds are different. Right? And there's only American corporations, institutions, when they talk diversity and inclusion, they're only talking to a certain ethnic background within our race or group, right? Your ethnic background, of course, is, you know, your faith, your belief, your morals, your geographical location, your religion, right? Customs. Though that's your ethnic background.
Right.
Right? And your races, you know, you're African, and
right.
you consider to be of the Negroid group, right? Or Native American, but more so, you know, African origins as far as racial class. Now, we look around and we see all these black people, right? And everybody in the same race, but we all got different ethnic backgrounds, which is also why, you know, certain black people aren't qualified to speak on certain black issues, because that's not even their same ethnic issues. You don't have the same ethnic background to even relate to them. So this is why you see certain people that come out and they have differences of opinion on Kyrie Irving or Kanye West.
Right.
And then you have other people from that same ethnic background that understand exactly what he's talking about. They speak that same language. They got the same customs, values, belief, religion, maybe come from the same type of geographical locations. Right? So that's why, you know, they typically try to find somebody who's not of that ethnic background and that understanding. They put them on the podium and then they allow them to speak.
Right.
And the opinion is always jaded and it's always on the opposite, because they was never supposed to understand in the first place.
Right. And it's hard to understand what you haven't experienced.
Right.
So when you speak about us and you don't know us,
right,
that's a problem.
Absolutely.
And like you said, the black skin is always a deterrent. Like, it's like you look at the black skin and say, is he like one of us though?
Yeah.
Like, I know he perpetuating the drill music shit. He telling us to crash out. Actually, even let's talk about this. Some of our media will grab our rappers and put them against each other. Some of our media will perpetuate the negative stereotypes, the negative conditions, the negative outcomes that continue to happen amongst each other, right? We have infighting, but everything that's close in proximity will have infighting, right? I have a hard time believing that plants don't get tangled up. Yeah. I have a hard time believing that cats that live around each other don't, right? So I think that some of our media needs to reposition. Not that they don't need to make money, but they can't be on the flagship. You know, I think that they are, like I said, placing us against each other. You've been instrumental in speaking to a lot of the media. Are there any platforms you will not go to?
Platforms I will not go to? I can't think of them off top, because I think that if I go there, I'm going to just challenge it.
Right.
You understand me? I done been on No Jumper, so I can't really say any black media platforms I won't go to.
That's facts. That's facts. Yeah. That's facts.
You know, so at this point, but it's more so depending on the setup.
Right.
You got to be there and you got to allow me to speak. You know, I won't be disrespected, and more so in the sense of the time constraint on how you want to narrate the conversation.
Right.
I'm not there to play nobody's game.
Right.
You understand me? So if I'm allowed to speak and deliver my points so that I can be understood, solid. But I'm not there to play with nobody on their platform where they want to edit things or try to control the situation or tone or whatever it may be. You have to be there because you are going to respect me and you're going to allow me to say things in a manner in which I want to say them in the time frame I need to say them.
Facts. And sometimes I even watched Andrew Tate go through this with Piers Morgan. I see, because I watch everything, and I have to, because the game, I look at the market, right? I don't fight with us, right? I know that our black media is a sector, but I look at this entire market. Like, I'm looking out way over at the Piers Morgans. I knew Lex Friedman 3 years ago before Kanye. Like, I'm on top of this game because I need to know who's getting the money, why they getting it, and what warrants the money.
Yeah.
Right? And so when I see the game and I see Andrew Tate sit with Piers Morgan, he wouldn't let him get any points off. And when they do that, they're able to paint a narrative. When they're able to interrupt you. Well, no, that ain't what you said. And that, well, hold on, man. Let me clarify what I was saying there, though. Right. Because they'll switch you. This like it's high level game, though. See, they
absolutely, because they also understand that they audience is not that intelligent, so they won't understand your point unless you fully say it.
Exactly.
So being stopping in the middle, other people that's intelligent can infer what was going to be said.
Good game.
But the people that's not that intelligent, they're just stuck at that point, and they don't know what would have come next.
Right.
So they stop you before that clip could ever be made.
Right.
So hell yeah, it's definitely a high level game to where they play so they can manipulate the minds and control the narrative that they want to stir for their ratings, right, and for their people, and they can make you look crazy as much as possible. Let those clips circulate, and
try
then
to
they can paint you whatever way they want to.
Right. And with our culture, and I seen you and Rashad, shout out EYL, man. It's a beautiful thing. You getting money with them boys. Yeah.
So I just want to say on that as well, man. One of those keys is that once you get on those shows and you do it, you have to have your points prepared in a very small capsule.
Exactly.
You understand me? And you have to be able to, even regardless of the question that they ask you, answer it the way you want to, so that there's only the clip of what you want to be said out there.
And I'm so glad we're speaking on this because we're teaching our young communicators, right? They're watching us, right? Me and you are some of the biggest in the culture right now, right? And they're watching us to say, yo, Loon communicate like, wow. And Keys is like, wow. And that's why I think we need to sit here for a minute. There's stylistic options with communication, right? There's a situation in which we have to develop each one of these and be effective in each area. When I see you, because me right now, I'm evolving this style. My own camera style by myself is mastered, right? I do that all the time, and it's just like it's second nature, right? And that's why most of my content on my other show, it goes crazy, but that's just like me by myself on that type of vibe. So I'm evolving this style, right? And it's important that we understand that all templates don't work on the same thing. And so when I see you go in and out from on stage to high level conversation to Market Mondays to an interviewed guest, right? You're able to communicate in all of these styles. And I want to speak to the youngsters about how to evolve that. What did you do to evolve yours? And I'll kind of share as well what I'm trying to do to evolve mine.
I mean, practice always makes perfect. You never get away from that, right? Like, I start off speaking at crowds in Oakland when there was no representation of black men, but they talking about black issues, and I see a sea of white folks. So I stand up, grab a mic, and I'm gonna say my piece, right? Now, in those days, I used to think of what is the message that I want to get across, right? Before you get up there, before you say anything, you have to always think of your intent, right? Because your intent is gonna always be as well programmed into how you say whatever you're going to say. The tone matters more than the message. Right? You can say the correct message with the wrong tone and be taken the wrong way because that's how people go feel.
See that?
Right? So the tone creates the feeling.
Pick that game up.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that's very, very important. So, because a lot of people understand, trying to figure out why was I misunderstood. Well, how did the people feel about the message?
How did they receive it?
We are very emotional people. So if you speaking to a person emotions and then they felt like, man, I ain't like that energy. It was angry. It was violent. Right? What you said, the logic of it could have been 100% correct. It could have been righteous, but the way you made people feel was bad. So now they feel bad about you because that was the energy that you put out reflected in your tone.
Exactly.
So learning to understand and control that is important. So sometimes we operate from a place of passion. You got to operate from intellect and passion, right? You got to be intellect first, what you're thinking. Then the passion is how you gonna say it, right? That energy that's projected, that's coming off raw.
Right.
But all of that needs to be controlled. When we look at speakers and leaders of the past, I think the issue is that you don't understand how meticulous that they
are,
work.
right? You think they're
Right.
freestyling or
No,
something. Yeah.
they picking their points.
Man.
I'm gonna speak like this when I want to, right?
Right.
Even when you see certain speakers, you see Tariq Nasheed or you see Dr. Umar, they pick their points before they get up there, the ones that's gonna hit hard.
Right.
Right? So they're not speaking from a place of thinking
Right.
of what they're going to say.
No.
Right?
It's flowing.
All they have to do is flow. It's
Yeah.
already up there,
Yeah.
and they just have to say it the way they want it to be said, and they think consciously of the audience and how they're going to
Right.
receive it. Then how are the networks going to pick it up?
Right.
How can this clip be utilized later? All these things are important if you decide to, and everybody's doing media because
Right.
everybody on social media,
Right.
but nobody has any study of media.
Right, and that's
Right?
where we come in at, because I've studied this down to a T. Like those guys, even with your Dr. Umar's, you're 100% correct. I just had a 4-hour conversation with him.
Yeah.
And it's like, you sit across from him, and that's why I'm saying I'm evolving my style, because I have the ability to get in a pocket like that. But my job in that moment is to create an environment for him to get in the pocket, right? And that's a different skill. And so as I'm dealing with someone like Umar, I understand as he's talking, he's gonna manipulate the environment to receive this message, right? Mm-hmm. And so before I get to this point about the black family being broken up, I start way over here about in the 1980s and the industry complex and the industrial, and they took and so I'm working you, right? I'm working you over here, and then I get you over here and I dunk the ball, boom. And that's what the black family been going through with and so when to watch him across, right, and to see him, because there's no notes involved, just like us, we just kicking it. I think that people, because of we're doing it like that, they think there's no preparation involved.
Yeah, no, that's far from the truth.
Yeah.
You got to have something in your head to speak it out your mouth. You understand me? And the research, the reading, the understanding, before I even, some points I gotta try them out on other people to see how they relate to it, right? But my ability to be able to communicate with different levels of people, that is the 19 key. You understand me? From that 1 to that 9, there's different people at different levels. I'm never trying to lose nobody. I'm trying to gather everybody.
Right.
So I have to speak in a universal language.
Right.
And speaking universally is mathematical. You understand me? You have to build up those ideas, but you also have to understand that everybody will understand everything, but they may understand the context.
Right.
And it may give them just enough to start thinking. But what you're trying to do with anybody when you speak is try to get people to think.
Right.
Once they thinking, you can turn the gears on for themselves.
Right.
Some people gears are already ready, so they go capture the full of the message, which allows them to infer more, or you giving them data that allow them to think in other ways. What I try to figure out every time I speak, especially when I'm communicating a solid point, is to get a person to be like, yo, I never thought about that before.
Yes.
You understand
That's
me?
how
Or I
try
never
to do
heard
it.
nobody say that like that.
Right.
Right? So, or I didn't know that.
Right.
These are compliments to a speaker.
Ooh.
You understand
And
me?
they feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that lets me know that I'm actually doing my job, but I have a high level ability to be able to paint pictures inside the minds of people.
Right.
You understand me? And this is a gift that I have through empathy, understanding the way people think, understanding the way people feel, right? You have in leadership, specifically in communication leadership skills, you have direct manipulation and indirect, because sometimes it's, not sometimes, but 80% of the time it's not about what you say, it's about what you don't say.
Right.
Even that, creating a pause.
Right.
Allowing a person to think about what you just
said.
said.
Yeah, see, that what I'm telling you, science involved.
Absolutely.
I tell these guys, man, yo, bro, me and you, right? And I know my situation, because this whole industry is a case study for me. Like, I take it very serious.
Yeah.
I see what's happening. I'm not playing with it. So me and you are some of the only people that cut through with the established internet being so crowded.
Yeah.
Right? It's consistent faces you kind of see that pop up no matter amongst our people, no matter where.
Yeah.
It's just like you'll see these faces, and I think that people have to understand how much that goes into us being able to cut through, like us being able to cut through all of that noise on the internet. And for me, I think one of my biggest attributes is clarifying. So even if I make a point and I look at you and you like, I'll drill that down, and drill that down. I'll drill that down. You know, because one thing is not, I don't have one way to say this, right? Because I'm dealing with a lot of information about something I'm gonna speak about. And so if let's say I say, man, you know, dogs derive from the wolf. And you know, well, look at the wolf. You know, and so I try to drill it in and drill it down and drill it down. And I think that I just want the young creators to know this coming up behind us, the young communicators, whether they be speaking, podcasting, radio, whatever it is, that there's gonna have to be some craftsmanship involved in what we do as speakers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotta study, man.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think you can get away from that. No matter how good of a natural speaker you are, there's something you won't develop unless you study.
Exactly.
Right? You have to study the greats, you have to study communication, you have to study media.
Give the youngins some greats.
All of this. You know, my greats, I like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Malcolm X, T.D. Jakes, Reverend Ike,
boy too.
You know,
Ike a bad boy.
Those probably my top 4.
And them dudes, that's powerful. When I say, and that's what I have, like, and I think I have it because I've studied those guys, is slow you down, bring you here, right? Especially when I'm by myself. See, now I can't, I'm not as slowed down because I have a guest and I'm not sure about, you know, again, I'm evolving that style. You know, but at some point I will be able to get into that vibe where even sitting next to someone, I go into them pockets. But right now I'm more concerned about my guests being in a position to get their shit off. You know what I'm saying? And
see, I work good when I get angry. You get me angry about something, the flow happens.
Right, yeah.
If I'm angry about something right before I go on, it's over.
Yeah. You don't want to piss me off.
Yeah,
because if you do, it's
up from there.
That shit is like, and it's enjoyment when you look back at it. Yeah. When you look back at it, you say, I'm cooking.
Yeah.
I'm cooking. Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah,
I'm talking about you can't give me no money. Yeah, like I love to just look back at myself and be like, ooh, look at him in his bag.
Yeah.
You know, he done figured it. He got a lane. He done figured out what he trying to say, and dude trying to stop him. And he's done, like, that shit is like I love that shit. Let's talk about Malcolm X, right? You said when you spoke with EY, when you spoke to Rashad, you said that you believe Malcolm X and a lot of the black leaders wouldn't like rap music.
I'm trying to remember the exact quote, but
I think it was like because of what they're saying, they're perpetuating.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, anybody would understand and admit that if you go off the totality of Malcolm X's life, his teachings, the things he stood for, his autobiography, right? There's nothing in that would make you think that he would like the culture of hip hop as it stands today.
Right. And so my question to you is, do you think that Malcolm X could have saw rap and used that as a tool of any kind? Or do you think that he would? Because I look at,
I think it would have made his job harder. I said, nah. I think what rap do is it take our mind away from the things we need to be focused on, not towards, right? Anything that does that is an enemy.
But could we integrate? Do you think a mind as great as Malcolm X could see something like rap and say, all right, it's an issue, but it's a tool, like a gun. A gun is the wrong hands is a powerful thing, right? You put a gun in someone's hands that has the wrong intentions or lack of understanding on how to use the gun. We're dealing with a weapon of mass destruction.
But in a nigga's hands, a gun is a detrimental thing.
Period?
Yes, because that's what we're seeing with hip hop. Everybody in hip hop.
You don't think niggas protect themselves with guns? Not. I'm saying I believe
against other niggas. If that nigga didn't have a gun and you didn't, y'all wouldn't shoot each other. Y'all had to fight it out.
That's a fact. I'm not sure I can say.
Like, look at the top. You got the top rappers don't even rap about violence.
Right. Drake, Cole,
me?
Kendrick.
It's the low hanging fruit. It's the niggas that's in the street that's giving those weapons that kill each other with it, right? And so right now, what you have to do is it's the issue is the nigga mentality.
Yeah,
us wanting to be niggas, and we're trying to justify niggerism. You understand me? And make it okay somehow. Like can we just be niggas? Can we just say nigga? Can we do nigga shit? And then we try to figure out goddamn words in Ethiopia. We try to figure out anything to justify us being niggas. You understand me?
Yeah.
We study and try to figure out, give me an intellectual reason I can still be a nigga. We just don't want to become gods. Right? It's like, it's an evolution. Nobody fights that hard to stay in the fucking same place, in the same grade. Imagine somebody trying to graduate you, bro. You still want to be in 12th grade?
You bugging out.
Yeah, bro, I'm trying to graduate you. Get your diploma, get on out of here. You like, nah, bro, I got to stay here. My friends here, family here. I'm used to this environment. I've been kicking. I've been in this school so long, I don't want to leave.
Right.
No. Every level of life got to come with a graduation. So I think that hip-hop is detrimental because it's remedial. It's not a reflection of evolution.
But it can be.
Everything can be.
So what I'm saying is, and then we just spoke about the top names in hip hop so we're dealing with hip hop being a tool of some sort. When I look at Cole, when I look at Kendrick, when I look at Lupe and certain people like that, I look at what hip hop could be from a positive standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it started from. You understand?
Right.
When they had Islam in it, and they was calling each other gods before niggas.
Right. So now that speaks to you or the people who us giving up on what it started as.
I don't think it's giving up. It's just that we see what the corporations push versus what the spirit of Black America push. I don't think that's us in the first place. That's capitalism.
Now we cooking.
That's the cap. It's the capitalism that's in rap. Is that you're not doing it for integrity. You're not doing it for honor. You're not doing it for nothing. It's just money. When money becomes the god of rap, it becomes deviant. You understand me? Because then you will bend over backwards for money.
Right.
Right? So you can't show me who's the most integrable. It ain't even no more gangsters in rap.
Nah.
Ain't no more gangsters in rap. Ain't everybody that say they gangster is bullyism based on them being able to kill another black man.
Right.
That shit ain't gangster.
That shit ain't nothing.
And I'm from Oakland and grew up in St. Louis as well. Like, I done seen it all.
Yeah.
You understand me? Niggas that consider themselves demons that go hunt other black men.
Yeah.
In the drill rap, they talking about hunting other black men. That ain't gangster.
Nah, ain't nothing gangster.
You understand
about
me?
that.
That's you bullying each other. The Dr. Wesley broke it down. That's the bully cooning. Right? The bully coon. Like, that was the one that would go out there and fight the other slaves. You understand me? But you would never fight the massa.
That's what I want to say too.
One thing
about these dudes, and I'm trying to figure out where I stand on it, is because we have a situation where black people, us, we only show each other how dangerous we are. Right? I know some of the most dangerous dudes I know. I'm talking about done things unimaginable, cause pain in the black communities. But when they see the police lights behind them, they pull right over and go to jail without an issue.
Yeah, I think that goes towards the fact that, like I said, that's the bully cone issue, right? The master come, you run, you turn into a boy. You don't need a man, right? In this environment of people you know don't have resources that you can bully. Right. So like you can be dangerous, but do you got power? Ooh. You understand me? There's people that's dangerous, but they ain't fearless. Right? They only dangerous to people that don't have power. Right? So like
cooking, boy.
As a man, if you in an environment and you can put fear in everybody else, but then when the real man comes, now,
come out with your hands, and he come out like this, going to jail for life.
They kill you. They kill your partner. Ain't no retribution.
Yeah.
None of those things happen. So when I say there's no gangsters and rap anymore, I mean like gangster in the sense to where like gangsters take care of their family. They take care of their community. They have power over the economics in their community. Right? What we seeing with the Ye situation is gangster.
For sure.
Right?
Let's get into that.
That's control. Right? If you don't have that, like what's the point of being a billionaire if you ain't got no power though? Right? So like
can't even talk.
We make the idea of being seen with billions, which is mostly an evaluation.
That's what we finna get into.
It's illusion. So being a real gangster is like, in the mafias, I get this breakdown. Think about families and family structures, right? Like being made men, where it's like, look, nobody can touch Loon.
Right.
Loon comes from that family.
Right.
Then if you touch him, then the other families go do something.
Consequences.
That's backup.
Yeah.
That's what make a cop that may be a coward feel tough because he has backup. Right? In the streets, black men in America, everybody got to go out there as separate entities. So if you stand up against some corruption or against some ignorance, right? You by yourself though. While the nigga got a whole backup. He got a whole gang behind him. You understand me? So being a God is a very lonely proposition, you understand me, in the streets. So it got to get to a point where you got to establish the same framework, right? For the mafia, for the gangs, for the police, for the military, behind righteousness. That's the only way shit gonna change.
Yes, Lord. And when you say that, and I want y'all to pick that game up, because this is high level game.
Absolutely.
They got to pick this here up.
Absolutely.
And I know they digesting it.
Oh, you
they
gotta
don't have
some
a choice.
Soldiers, man.
Yeah.
Y'all soldiers got to be built on the same principles, same mission, same values. You understand me? Believe in the same God and the higher purpose and vision, right? Train them soldiers' minds up to where y'all got rule and a cadence that y'all go follow. Teach them how to move when they operate with y'all. You understand me? And you got to have rules built on righteousness. Otherwise, everybody starts snaking each other.
Exactly. And it's important that not be the case for us to have the longevity we need to have to change the things that we've been faced with.
Yeah, because the shit in the streets don't work. The streets don't
dead.
ever work.
That shit dead. Now let's speak about, because the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan,
yes, sir,
said that and brought my attention to a very important place with the Kanye West thing. He was like, they give you billions of dollars that you can't see.
Yeah.
This net worth thing is a trick.
Yeah.
This evaluation thing, if they can take it like that, it's definitely a trick.
Right.
Right? If you could snap your finger and then say he's no longer worth such and such billion, he's worth 300 million, and you just took that. I need people to understand how they even come up with this you're worth 6 billion thing. That doesn't mean you have $6 billion.
Nah, it's an evaluation, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff. We living in a time where most of the great illusions are falling, right? We seeing Elon Musk lose billions. Twitter is supposed to be going bankruptcy. There's a thing in crypto, this FBF guy who's supposed to have lost 100 million in a day. You understand me? We're seeing billions and billions and billions of dollars saying that these are disappearing. It's no longer there. It was never there.
Exactly.
The world is built on all of these great and grand illusions. When somebody is worth $100 billion, there's no $100 billion liquid anywhere.
Where
liquid
is
meaning
it?
the actual physical cash that is in representation of that number. But when you got a company and you put it on the stock market, they can get a 10x or 100x evaluation, meaning that, let's say if you got a company that brings in $1 million, right, per year. You put that on the market, they may be able to get 10x, so now it's worth 10 million.
Right.
They making 10 million, now they put it on the market, somebody gonna say it's worth 100 million.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that money actually exists. That's the evaluation of that company.
Right.
So you can go from a $10 million, $100 million company to all of a sudden $1 billion company.
Right.
And so now if that evaluation not there, it's not so-calledly worth that. But it was never there in the first place.
That's the cap. And so Kanye West is dealing with, like, for us that understand that language, because there's a whole lot of people in our community just like, oh my God, they took his money.
Right.
And when you look at it, it's like, no, you have to understand the evaluation process. You really got to understand, like you said, the great illusions that America's built on. Yeah. And net worth and all of that kind of shit is one of them.
And then also, I think our culture, right, when we look at Mark Zuckerberg done lost billions, all them boys right now are losing billions. Go look at the news. You got to pay attention.
That boy Mark is going crazy. He losing every day.
Man, he done lost all kind of billions.
He lost more money than
$1 billion. Let's say evaluation of billions.
Right. He's not losing the money, right? Because we confuse you.
You got liquid money. You got the assets that a person actually owns. They homes, they cars,
right.
They jewelry, they gold, they stocks.
Right.
All of that is the true value that a person has.
Right.
You understand me? So when they took away the evaluation, right, because he was making Adidas $1 to $2 billion per year.
Yeah, easily.
Right. So they were saying that the deal is worth over time because it was to 2026 and he was projecting in his mind that over time this is going to be worth 10 billion, 5 billion. So now he can say I'm worth this, but it's only based on the
rate
terms
of travel and everything.
Staying in agreement.
Right.
So if he didn't stay in agreement, then he's not worth that. And most people money is based on their agreements with the system.
That's game.
You understand me? If you don't
just
have
like an NBA player, system, just like
there's not one billionaire in our culture whose wealth can't be snatched away like that.
Yes, because they're not dealing with
that wealth into real money.
Right.
Real money is gold, it's silver, it's land.
Is there a way to transfer $6 billion into gold?
Not if you don't actually have it.
Exactly, because see, it's a game. You can't go get $6 billion, even if they
Who
say
gonna
you're
give you
worth
$6
six.
billion worth
Right?
of
Where do
gold?
you see? That's what I'm saying.
But see, this is why somebody like Bill Gates buy up a bunch of land.
Right.
Right? Land continues to increase in
Right.
value. Black people in America own about 2% of the land.
Right.
Less than that, because that circle is also Hispanics we share. So the minorities,
Right.
so-called, we not really minorities, we know the game.
Right.
But whites own the rest of that.
Right.
So the goal is to try to transfer it into something tangible, right?
Right.
Even,
And so if
even
you-
having stock ownership is better than just having your money floating out there.
Right. Even though stocks are tied to an evaluation.
Right, but stocks over time have been the most dependable
Right,
source
right,
of
right.
assets.
That's the oldest-
You
that's
understand
the
me?
oldest.
So like putting your money in the S&P 500 or putting your money in bonds, unless the world collapses, right?
Right.
The government collapses.
Yeah, it's- and probably
where
won't
you
happen.
already in the Armageddon type
Yeah, yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Like I think that's the problem. You can't plan for doom.
Right.
Right. Otherwise, there's no point of having money anyway.
Right, right.
Like in that point in time, like weapons and food become the most
Right.
valuable thing.
The money means nothing.
Right. That's
Yeah.
not planning for wealth. That's planning for Armageddon.
Right, right. Let me ask you this, because you cooking right now, and I'm sure this is a great episode. What happened? What the fuck happened with the NFT shit?
90% sales
crashed.
plummeted.
Yeah, what?
Now, I think that the reality of NFTs is the value still is consistent. The technology is there. Everybody, especially independent rappers and things of that nature, should use NFTs. Right?
How though? When people have spent $250,000 on it and
Because they
it's
was
worth
buying the wrong
$8.
shit.
How do
Right?
you know what to buy then?
It's very easy. What is it? What is it value? You buy something only because other people buying it. That ain't nobody.
Right, that's
fault but
trickery.
yours.
Yeah, that's trickery. But I'm saying,
if I say, listen, man, all of a sudden everybody done got hype. Man, these phone cases is going for $1 million.
and you get
You
one.
understand me? You like, yo, why though? And you like, I don't know, but
But it's the
everybody
new
buying it.
thing.
You
Yeah.
buying it. And then all of a sudden, the value end up going back to its original, and you like, yo, what happened? What you mean? The value just returned.
Yeah.
So the intrinsic value of something is the real value. So let me give you a game, right? So there's still people making money right now.
On NFT.
80% of businesses fail. 80%
Period.
of
That's
businesses
period
fail.
after that. Yeah.
Right. So that's because everybody's not good at entrepreneurship. Everybody's not good at doing business. It's very hard.
Right.
NFTs came essentially as new businesses.
Right.
Startups.
Right.
You got these new brands that's out there, these new projects that's out there, these new communities that's being out there. So you had a bunch of people buying into a market bubble specifically because it was a lot of hype around. It was the first time we get to see artists getting paid for their work. So it was good for a lot of artists that were real artists,
Right.
because they actually got paid. Now, somebody buying a picture of a monkey or, you know, a worm or something just cuz
Right.
doesn't actually have any real value attached to it.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's all speculatory value.
So, but explain to me right now, like, okay, so me on the outside of it, because I deliberately said I want to speak the keys about NFTs with a very limited understanding,
Right.
right? Because I want the other people with a very limited
I
understanding.
always say don't say NFT and you understand it.
Okay, so when I look at it and it's a picture,
Right.
explain to me the value in the picture.
Depends on the artist. Go look at art right now. If you go buy a Basquiat that got value, maybe somebody on the street, you understand me, that is an incredible artist, you may not see the value. in
Right.
it.
Or understand
understand
how
me?
the value was even
Now,
obtained.
the thing about NFTs is that they have a matrix code built into it to where you can attach value to it. So I can say that this NFT
It's worth a ticket to get into.
right. So this not just a picture; it's a ticket.
Right.
Right. Or it's not just a picture; it is.
Okay, now that is explaining
also
it a little better.
membership.
Okay, I get it
It's
now.
not just a ticket; it's your access to this community. It's not just a ticket. Now you can go to this event by having ownership.
So if
of
you
the
have your
digital
own
pass.
world built,
yeah, if
like
you
a
build
rapper
business
who's on
around it,
tour, like has merch, has right.
and
So
they show up and they be like, "Yo, man, I got the golden pass." You understand me? The golden pass was to say I get VIP access. Golden pass say I get to take a picture. Golden pass say I get the free merch.
and that's value for
Right.
that NFT. So that's how you. Okay, that makes sense.
So as a rapper, And then here's the problem with a lot of rappers specifically is they don't know no business, right? And don't understand no business models or how to leverage their intellectual property.
Right.
For me, NFTs is the best way to leverage your intellectual property, specifically because the technology allows you to be able to build community around it, right? So I had an NFT. I sold probably about 1,000 of them, but they was all connected to crowns.
Right. See, you have product. I want to also let the young brothers know that you're dealing with a guy who understands what he's doing. You see the crowns, you see y'all move militant, you see, and you have product.
Right.
Number one thing, rappers, I know y'all all look at me.
Well,
Get
look, this
product.
is why the product is more important, because if you got music, you have to utilize the music as leverage, right? What's better, a person getting 1 million streams, right? Or a person having 1,000 fans?
That's what I'm saying.
1,000
fans,
fans
you
is
can,
way more important than 1 million streams.
keep
Who's your favorite artist?
Lil Baby.
How much have you paid Lil Baby over a lifetime since listening to his music?
Not sure. Can't calculate it because the streaming services won't, right? Whatever they charging. There's no direct number I gave to him in any facet of his business. Whether that's tickets, whether that's music, whether that's YouTube viewership, wherever that is, there's a middleman that's involved with him being.
So I would say the average fan, based on streaming, probably give $5 to $10 to their favorite artist.
That's bad.
You understand me?
Somebody you want to support.
Somebody you do support by listening. You literally are consuming their product consistently, but paying them nothing. Right? You paying them pennies on a dollar. So instead, if you got 1,000 fans, because they say, based on Google Analytics, the average rapper makes 70,000, and I know that that's not even true. That's less.
Yeah, way
that's the
less.
Average, successful rapper makes 70,000. Average rapper making probably around 10,000, 5,000, if that.
Yeah, 200. I know a few of them.
So what if you got 1,000 fans, or even 100, because you can do both models.
Right.
You got 1,000 fans, all you got to get them to do is pay you $100 a year. You understand me? That's $100,000.
Ain't that
right?
Boy just laid the game on the front seat.
So if you go do that right now, let's say that $1,000 January 1st, whoever buys that NFT January 1st, that is my music pass. So it gives you a token to get access to all my music that year. And only 1,000 people can access my music that year. Right? So now these 1,000 people are giving you $100. You put them into like a Discord or community, or you build an app. Now they're communicating. Then you can throw a concert on top of that. I'm only going to do 2 concerts this year, right? One in January, one in December, right? The concerts is $100 each for everybody, right? Now you got 2 concerts, 1,000 people showing up. That's $200,000 if you can pull it off. Or you do one concert.
You know how easy that is for Baby or for...
That's what I'm saying. It's just business models, though. But most people don't understand business models. They don't understand margins, right? And they don't understand how to leverage what they have. We get in the community, and a lot of times, because we never had nothing, we want to own 100% of something.
And that's not always the case. Because all the big companies in the world are split down. Yeah.
All the companies trying to figure out how can they sell or leverage the equity that they have. Because if I can say, bro, all right, if you give me $100,000, I give you 10% of what I own.
Right.
I'm telling you by 10% that this is worth $1 million.
Right.
Right? But because I'm giving you 10% at 100,000.
Right.
So that means that the whole pot must be worth $1 million.
Exactly.
But I need that 100,000 to be able to leverage, because I may be able to turn this now to be able to worth $3 million.
Right. With that 100,000 helping
other people's money.
Right. And that's business for rappers and people looking.
So what your goal is, like with the NFTs, we seen Nas do it with fractionalized ownership. He was able to give away some royalties to some of his music. Right? So now not only you own it, the fans own it as well. So they streaming what they own. They promoting what they own.
Did that work for Nas? Was that successful?
Play.
Okay.
So with a long-term play, it's like I said, it's based on streaming and people getting royalties to it. So that's just long-term.
Right.
NFTs is a technology that can be utilized and implemented within business models.
And that's
what happened. It turned into a trend, and people start jumping in without understanding how to use it.
I'm glad we speaking on this.
I never told people to buy NFTs. I told them to create them. Right?
That's a very different thing.
Absolutely. Because it's very easy to see a market that don't have value. Now, I've taught students to where they was able to get in, buy, flip, and make tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But the goal, every time I spoke, create them. Understand them.
Right.
But everybody wanted to just buy them instead of creating their own. So when I told you I create my own project, right, that has a product attached to it, that has a community attached to it, That's long term. I'm
Right.
planning on something now for my peoples that's in my community.
Right.
Now I got their data as well.
Right.
Their data is the fact that they're attached to the project. Imagine if everybody that ever listened to your show, before they get in, before they watch, they had to sign up with their wallet, right? Now they get an automatic NFT airdrop to them.
Right.
Anytime that comes, you can give them push notification airdrop to the actual show. That makes sense.
Right.
The problem with this whole, they say the sales plummeted. Yes, because the value of the market started to decrease because the business models was trash.
Right. Everybody just fell
Right.
in there, fell in there, fell in
There's
there.
something right now that, and it's the problem that people don't know how not to go off media. Media is dangerous. It can
Right.
manipulate the mind away from value.
Right, for sure.
Right now, the
And that's
stock
what it's
market
used
is
for.
crashing.
Yeah.
The crypto market is in a winter. The NFT market is in the dumps. The world markets are in the dump.
Right.
But there's money to be made in each one of those sectors
Right.
still.
Right.
Your job is to say, that's what money not being made, but where is the money being made?
Right. Do you think that because you were at the forefront of NFTs, do you think that put any kind of strain on how people viewed some of your message?
Oh, hell no. Shit. Because if you go back and you go listen to the messages, I was giving you the game the whole time.
Right.
See,
and how you explained it now, I believe rappers will understand it.
That's
Like,
how I always explained it.
Yeah.
See, people are lazy.
Right. They don't go get it.
I don't take, look, your laziness is not my detriment.
Right.
If you go listen to the first interview I did on Market Mondays, I was giving a breakdown. I explained it was going to go to $1 billion, but also explained that 90 or 80% of the projects was trash. And most of them go crash. Anybody can see everything goes through cycles, right? The cycles happen where you get the boom cycle, then it has to recede.
Right.
Right.
It's part of it.
And then you get an average of where it's going to be after that.
Right.
And then if it's a viable market, you're going to get another boom cycle. Our bodies go through that cycle on a daily basis.
Exactly.
So for me, I study things. But if a person takes a 1-minute clip and then they don't study the 4-hour lesson, then that's your fault
Right.
because that's how you do everything else in
Right,
life.
right,
So I never
right.
took no hit from it because people understood that the people in my community,
Right.
they was being coached.
Right.
The people on the outside is the lazy people trying to get 1 minute worth of information and hope it turns into $1 million worth of game.
Ooh, that was
Don't work like that.
That was high level.
Nah, we educators, man, and
Right.
our culture got to stop being lazy because every other culture built their empire on education, right? So there's nobody to blame if you lose money but yourself because you didn't do your due diligence.
Facts.
So we have to study. When you're spending money, I've lost plenty of money in multiple things, but my risk tolerance is high
Right.
because I only blame myself.
Right.
Right. So when I get into
that's so
something,
important.
I'm studying. But
Yeah.
this part is very important for people because we're so distracted right now.
Right.
Right. We pay attention to shit that don't matter on a consistent and daily basis. Where the hell, right, is the media that's constantly giving you the game? They will report when there's a new market, something's going bad, but that same media won't educate you, right? So now they are the ones that's getting you to jump into the FOMO, the fear of missing
Right,
out.
right.
You jumping in because of celebrity, right?
Right.
And I told people, go on to YouTube. All celebrity projects are trash.
I remember
the
you
lesson
saying
is
that.
out there.
I
The
remember
game
you
is
saying
out there.
that, yeah.
So no, my business only got bigger because, people realize like, damn, if I would have just listened to his voice the whole time, he was actually giving me the game
and
on
listen
how to navigate the
right,
space.
listen in a real way too,
Yeah.
not just cherry pick because it's a lot of that in media and in consumption of media. A lot of just cherry picking quotes and cherry picking the game. When this message here, you got to digest.
Yeah.
You got to
even
come
now
ready.
in the BWO, I'm still teaching the student because that's why I said don't call it NFTs. If I
Right.
tell you I got a book on a blockchain, and if you buy that, you got that forever.
Right.
And you say, oh yeah, word, I want to support your book. You
Right.
go buy it. You bought an NFT, but I didn't call it an NFT.
Right.
Same
But
thing.
see, that's why I think they
Yeah.
done killed the image of the NFT. That name just starting to, when they hit NFT, like, oh, nah, whoa.
Right.
Everybody losing. But they ain't thinking about the business
It's the
model.
technology.
Yeah.
Forget
And
the
that's
name.
what we need to
We
keep
use
in
the
mind.
internet all the time, and people get scammed on the internet, but you don't blame .coms.
Good
You
game.
understand me? Because
Good
that's
game.
the technology, though.
Good
You don't blame
game.
the internet.
Good game.
It's just technology. Technology don't have it's not some AI that did it by themselves. It was the way the people used it.
Yes, Lord.
So in my business, hell yeah, it's best for people that especially that want to, challenge the system. So they don't want these things to work. They
Right.
don't want crypto to work
Right.
and DeFi to work.
Right.
They want y'all to stop believing in
Right.
it because you stop challenging the system.
Right. And you go with the structure.
Come
Did
on,
you lose
look at
money?
Lil Russell. Yeah, I lost some.
You lost money,
but I made money too.
Right. So I mean, that's part of this whole thing we do.
That's the beauty of it, man. I don't mind losing money to learn something because now I know how to use it today. Like I can go utilize the technology. Right. People don't get stuck in that damn thing.
Right, man. That's so important.
And I want that shit to boom again because I want rappers specifically can build whole goddamn distribution channel. They can build whole
like we just spoke about
record labels by utilizing the blockchain, not just NFTs.
Yes.
The blockchain is the key to it.
Yes.
NFTs are just one way to utilize the blockchain.
Right.
And that was specifically for the creative community. Now people are buying houses on the blockchain in the forms of NFTs.
Damn.
People are doing collateralized loans. People are discharging debt. People are doing self-banking. There's so many things happening, but there's a small microcosm where people only pay attention to what the media tells them. Then they don't investigate. What the hell is this built on?
Right.
Why is this now just being possible?
Right.
Like, these are the things that I try to get people to think.
Right.
And we just have a lack of thinking.
And that's what we here for, though, is to get people to think. I wanted to also ask you, because Kyrie Irving is going through a lot in the media.
You got a water, or you can get me.
You can get in the refrigerator right there. But Kyrie Irving is going through a lot, as far as him retweeting a documentary that he didn't make, and him trying to be in a situation to find out what his true self is.
Yeah,
I think he's on a very, very specific journey. But I wanted to ask you, because he references you a lot, I wanted to ask you, is that heavy?
You said, is it what?
Is it heavy? Like that you have someone in that position with so much on the line, who says, I got people like Keys that I reach out to. I got people like Keys that I get some direction or I pull from. Is that a heavy weight on you? Because, I know that we all got it all together and we moving through this life with, upright and independent, but that's your black brother. He depending on your information. He depending on some of your understanding. Do you feel that, or is this just you understand that we righteous and we on the cause and whatever that mean, whatever that take?
All praise due to Allah. It's always heavy in the sense that anybody, not just Kyrie Irving, but the accountability that you have, the more influence that you gain, right? But I started this journey off purposely to help enlighten people, right, and to be somebody that can be leaned on. Right, so specifically my brother Kyrie Irving, he's on his journey. Right, and he's on a very authentic journey.
Yes,
like what you see on the field, what you see in the press conferences is how he is 24/7.
Right,
that's his authentic spirit, and I think black men are not allowed to be their authentic selves anymore. Right, like the NBA is full of people that will never speak their true values. Right, even though it's 78% black, right? But it's not a black cultured sport.
Right.
Even though we dominate it. We dominate all the sports, but the culture of it isn't black, right?
That's some bullshit.
And that's dangerous because that means that if the dominant, race, ethnic group, is within something, then that means that should revolve around them, not the other way around.
Exactly.
But what's happening is it's revolving around the culture of the owners rather than the culture of the players.
Right. So even if the whole league felt like Kyrie, number one, or not even felt like Kyrie, because we don't know what he feels, we know what he's searching for. Yeah. So if the whole league, black men, went on search for the same thing that Kyrie,
knowledge yourself, all black
men, was in search for, should be in search for, right? So if all black men in the league went on that search, I believe the league would not respect the fact that 78% of their players is trying to figure out.
But see, that's where the league ain't got to respect it. The players have to. It's the players' job to make the league bend to their will, because the league can't operate without the players.
Right.
And this is everywhere. This is the one thing we don't respect about our collective
community
numbers.
Right.
Is that once the players say, you know what, we can't stand for one of, and this is the dangerous thing. Well, you're going to lose your money. You're going to lose this. You're going to lose that. This is how they control people that grow up in impoverished environments.
I pulled you out the water.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Remember, Your net worth, your evaluation is based on your agreement to the terms.
Yes, Lord.
Right? So without that agreement, then you lose your value. This is how you control the person.
Yes, Lord.
If you can control the person's mind and they will, then they are your slave.
Right.
This is why people say the NBA and the NFL is a slavery.
Right.
It's a plantation because they control your mind and will. You can't say what you want to. You can't think what you want to.
Right.
Right? And people say, well, they get millions to be slaves, right? But it's still slavery by any degree.
Right.
So these players have the responsibility. So it can't just be the people always standing up for the players. The players have to stand up for themselves collectively.
That's for sure.
So you got to look at them, and nothing would have happened if all the players was like, you know what? We're going to do a blackout day.
Right.
These terms that they give in Kyrie,
ain't cool.
You understand me, is a buck-breaking term sheet.
Right.
And we know that this is only to humiliate him because the CEO of Amazon is a white Jewish man that any one of those people in power can call any day of the week, get a press conference, get a call.
Yeah.
I listened to, the head of the ADL give a breakdown on when he called Adidas. He said, I called Adidas. He told me all of the reasons why they couldn't do it and why their hands was tied because their money is so tied up in Ye, right? And he told them, he said, listen, I get it. He said, I worked in, as a CEO too. But he say, if you do it, we will praise you. But if you don't do it, we're going to bring that hammer on you consistently. This is what he's saying to a group of people because he's explaining how he deals with these corporations. He's giving the playbook.
Yeah.
Right? But this is how he goes to these corporations and he talks to them. So that lets me know if you can call the CEO of Adidas, you can call the CEO of Amazon.
Right.
But when you are in bed and in business, and then there's certain power structures that have a lot of power. Right? Jeff Bezos got a lot of power.
Right.
Because if Amazon fall, then America does as well. Right? So that's a lot of leverage.
Right.
See, what we don't be having is leverage behind us.
Yes, Lord.
You understand me? And so you got to understand the game of power and control dynamics.
Right.
So all of that, it was never about Kyrie.
Right.
You understand me? Or the documentary.
Right.
It was always making an example of Kyrie because he happens to be what they consider the uppity Negro.
Right.
Right?
He doing too much. He talking too much.
There's
He doing
only
too
one
much.
person that got away with speaking truth to power in sports, and that's Muhammad Ali. But you also have to have a great level of communication to back up everything that you say.
Yes.
There wasn't nobody that wanted to rumble with Ali in the ring or verbally and intellectually.
He
that
was
man
on
was
it.
bad.
Yeah, he
you
was on
understand me? He'd be talking about white folks and had them laughing at oppression. You understand me?
Yeah, he was
That's
a different
how cold
beast.
he was.
Yeah, he was a monster.
Right.
He was a monster. With Kyrie, do you believe that he could have been? Do you believe that the people in the league, like your Shaqs or your LeBrons, who've came out and spoke against, right? Explain to me, because I've heard you say this. You will be judged in this time by your silence as well as your words.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's key. You can tell if a person is not speaking and they have a strong opinion in a platform, then it's because of their fear.
Right.
Right? What Dave Chappelle say in SNL? He say, a lot of things happen with Kanye, and I'm usually quick to call him or jump on something, but he said, this time, I waited a little bit. I wanted to see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
We know, who's of the culture and who's of the top, And,
but I believe that someone, right, in Kyrie in that moment, I know you say they'll be judged by their silence, but sometimes I think they should just be quiet. Because if you're going to say something that's detrimental.
Absolutely. If you got something good to say it. If you don't, especially when it comes to each other, just don't say nothing.
Yeah, and call
some
me.
of these Negroes, man, they need to just shut up.
Yeah.
Right? I seen a few of them, but we know Charles Barkley, we can't depend on him to do nothing.
Right.
You understand me? He always gonna be on the other side.
Yeah.
But that's the difference between race and ethnicity. Right?
There
Charles Barkley is a brown man that was a great basketball player, but on the inside, he is a white man. That's just what I see. He's never shown me any reason that we have the same ethnic background.
And clarified if it ain't.
And Shaq, it was very disappointing for him to go on there and verbally assault his brother by disrespecting him, you understand me, in front of millions of people who look up to Shaq. So if you believe that he went and disrespected people by posting a link, and you believe that was wrong, how does it feel as a black man and you go disrespect another black man? So you can't tell me that's not an equal assault?
Man.
Right? So the way that these Negroes jump in front of the bullet for their masters is disrespectful. I even seen Stephen A. Smith come into his aid, right, in this hour, which we go see a lot of odd things in this hour, saying that they trying to keep the foot on his neck.
Yeah.
Right? And so we know what that is. All black men around the world feel that.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, there's our documentary called Goodbye Uncle Tom. And everybody should watch it. It's hard to get through because it's shot like it's real life.
Yeah.
When you see the way that the Africans act in there, it's shot like it's real life.
I'm watching that tonight.
So what happened is you will have a serious breakdown.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
So there's a scene though where one of the slaves is getting tortured and getting neutered, right? And the rest of them are around and they're laughing. They like giggling like hyenas, right? But the explanation was the fact that, you know, they not really laughing because they enjoy, you know, and they find it comical. They're laughing because they fear this is the only way
It's
to
a
get
lot
through
of
it.
that.
And they fear being next.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm gonna make my side clear.
Right. So then,
before you even pull the whip out, I'm gonna make my side clear.
and
Man,
then
he
guess
tripping.
what? You gonna try to give Master his next victim, and as long as it ain't you feel like you're safe. As long as you're not next. And this is what's happening. Like, we know that epigenetics, that's gonna last 7 generations from the things that happened to us in slavery. Right. But not even just slavery, from the civil rights, from the black codes, from Jim Crow, from the Willie Lynch type times. That stuff is still there.
Yeah, embedded, baked in.
This buck-breaking process of telling Kyrie to do these things, these are top 1% white men. You can talk about their religion all you want to. These are white men that are in the safest position in the world.
Lord have mercy.
Black men had nothing to do with the Holocaust, right? Black men were fighting in all of the wars, even when we would still come back from war and face even more racism. So we have fought on the side of good every single time and been treated the worst. So in this country, there ain't a goddamn person who can make a black man apologize for an oppression that they had nothing to do with. Black men don't commit violence against Jewish people. Black men actually take all of their business, all their talents to Jewish people, asking them to manage their money, asking them to manage their funds, asking them to manage their legal, asking them to manage their creativity. We take all of our talent and energy to Jewish people in America, right? So if there's anybody, right, that the Jewish America should look at and be like, you know what? The relationship between that you have with black people is because of how black people go to Jewish people.
Right. And it's been transactional.
Right. And so there's nothing wrong with speaking on that. There's nothing wrong with speaking their truth. But it's like this younger generation, I had a Jewish man reach out to me and I was hesitant. He wanted to do a podcast or a talk, but it's like I'm not willing to just let people use me because it's a moment to where you reaching out to black influencers so you can build your platform on it. That's just more manipulation.
Right. And this high level game on this side.
So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, we recognize truth and we stand on truth. Right. And if you stand on truth, stand on that.
Right.
But if you a sucker, just say that. But the reality of it is that y'all know damn well, you know, there's a lot of Jewish people in my community where I live in LA. I don't see a Jewish person, Hasidic Jew or Ashkenazi Jew, and I think, you know, some hate in my heart. Nobody walks around like that in the hoods. We kill each other. We not going outside and be like, damn, I hate Jewish people. No.
We just spoke about we only show each other how dangerous we are. Yeah.
So in that fact, what we want though is the same way that happened with George Floyd. George Floyd had to die, right? And so many people were able to benefit from it. When he died, corporations felt guilty. White guilt spiked at the all-time highest level in the history of the world.
That is 100%.
That's what George Floyd died. Right? And that's what happened. And a lot of companies were able to benefit and a lot of businesses were able to benefit. This time, right, we asking that same conversation that we never had about reparations, that same conversation that exists within wild guilt. When we talk about corporations taking advantage of us, when we talking about people getting 360 deals, right? When we talk about black people and black entertainment culture and the vultures within the culture propagating sex, murder, drugs, lies, violence consistently.
Not offering insurance, therapy, financial literacy.
So
run you into some money and crash you out.
Exactly. There's a responsibility that if you are a part of an industry that does that, number one, there should be guilt on your part unless you're doing it intentional. And then there has to be a conversation, right, about making amends so that our community can move forward and heal.
Right.
But as long as our oppression is your business model, right? Then you're responsible for that because you capitalizing off of our death. So therefore, we talk to a community and be like, listen, y'all have a considerable amount of power in this industry to help us make the change.
Right.
So the thought leaders, the intellects, you would think if the NAACP was who they say they were, then they would be a challenge in that existing system, and not just the rappers, but the corporations behind the rappers
Cooking.
that put the money for the rappers, because they don't get the loans. They don't get on TV. They don't get on radio unless, right, it's green lighted first.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
So the responsibility goes directly to the gatekeepers who create the reality. Because if the top rappers ain't talking about violence, you understand
They
me?
don't get the budget.
Then that means that we don't need rappers to talk about violence to be successful.
Right.
That's what that means. So why
right.
then are you going to young men that's disenfranchised communities, right? They grow up with low education. They grow up in poverty. So if you give them any opportunity, they're gonna take it, even if it's at the detriment of the
community.
People.
Yeah,
they don't care. They want that money.
Right. And you know what? With the Kyrie thing, I believe the apology isn't what they want as well. I think that he apologized and they basically blocked the shot. It's like, no, that's not enough.
Because they don't want him to keep his integrity too. If you walk back on that field with your head up high and you still have all of the integrity, right, that you had
inspire
before you left, yes, now you are inspirational.
Yeah, I want to kill that inspiration.
It makes more men want to stand up like that. And it ain't nothing white folks hate more than a strong, fearless black man with knowledge of self.
Yeah.
So for you to walk out there and they telling him he has to show that he's sorry. That's what they tell. They say.
What does that mean?
Hey,
my words.
You
my
have
words.
You have to show that you've been broken.
Yeah.
You can't go out there uppity Negro no more. You have to show that you've been broken, because we don't want the rest of these Negroes to be inspired in that same way.
Right.
Because we know in law it creates case precedents. Right. Now you can go back. Well,
something to pull
from. In the case of Kyrie versus Cho Tsai, in the case of Kyrie versus, you understand me, Adam Silver, in the case of Kyrie versus the NBA, he went out there and he walked with his head up high, because we seen what happened when he went against the V, and he still was able to go back out there his head up high. They've been hating him ever since that moment.
Yeah, and it's like they've been trying to get at him.
The system was not designed for black men to win in. The system was designed for white men to control black men wins.
Do you think that people, because I heard Shannon, some of these people are starting to walk it back. And
yeah, they got to.
I kind of like how we are starting to hold each other accountable in that way too. Like, yo, bro, y'all, come on, man. Us against us?
Yeah.
Like, call him, bro. If it's like us against, and dudes are trying to walk it back.
Yeah.
Do you think that, what do you say to someone like Shannon Sharp who would say something like, if you want to keep your platform, do as they say, or you're more effective if you stay in line with what they say, because that keeps you in a position to be in the NBA and with that evaluation net worth type of agreement with the system?
That is a, shout out to all these brothers.
Right.
I think a lot of these brothers are trying to figure it out as they go.
And we building, this is information based.
They are in silos where the people around them start to influence them, and oftentimes you have to be in communication with somebody who thinks different, so that you can think different on the situation.
Right.
But you have to understand that, it's one thing to be a spook who sat beside the door, right? But that has to be your intention. You can pick your spots, but you have to be in communication so you can help others that's doing the real work.
For sure.
Right? Because I don't think, and this is the thing, like when you talked about silence, I don't think everybody needs to speak on this.
Right.
Because what you can do is you can muddy up the way that we see you, so next time you do say something real, we don't take it serious no more. Well, if you just shut up, right, and you pick your spots, right, now you can still be utilizing that key position. So what we have is, I don't need the billionaires and the millionaires to go out there and try to be revolutionary. No, there's enough things that we can just do with our money and our collective influence to help people that's doing real work.
Exactly.
And that changes the game.
Exactly.
Right? Like, I got my brothers, New Era Detroit, man. I love what they doing out there in the streets, man.
Right.
They take people to the hoods. There's no cameras, no nothing. And they going and they doing the violence intervention, and they doing conflict resolution, and they have chapters around America. Imagine if there was millions of dollars put into that.
Right.
A documentary, that's one thing.
Yeah.
That's not even the most important things right now. Economics is the most important because we can't control our own people without it.
Right.
If you go look at all the black media, right, and whoever wants to take this idea, I hope it's somebody black.
Right.
All black media, there's a dollar sign on that. It's not even a billion. There's a dollar sign on that. And by the mean that if you got $1 billion check, right, and you say, I want to own all black media, you can go to every little podcast and big podcast and present them a check, right? And you can buy up every single last one, and then you can run your own opinions, influence, and products through that, right? Because this is currently the model and the way it works, right?
Right.
That the corporations put ads on top of the videos,
Facts.
right? And if you can't say certain things if you got sponsors,
Right.
Because then it's gonna mess up the money,
Right.
So they actually control the intellect of Black America by giving them ad dollars,
Right.
Because then it can look bad on the products,
Right.
So if you got $1 billion, $100 million, right now you have enough money to actually control the voice of Black America,
Right.
And there's actually no more influential voice in the entire world. Right, so when you go look at what our buying habits influence everybody else's buying habits.
Yes.
So there's a dangerous thing about our boycotts. When we boycott something, it's not just our money we're taking away. We're taking away our influence dollars as well. Right? When that little black kid wear them shoes, and that NBA player, that NFL player, that rapper wear them shoes, we don't just represent our buying power and our consumer power within
Influence.
that index.
Yeah.
We represent when we buy it. That's the reason these white kids are buying. That's the reason the Asians are buying. That's the reason the Jewish kids are buying and everybody else.
100%.
Look at Kanye West.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
So everybody's buying this shoe because we wear it.
Right.
So you got to understand
Worldwide.
that percentage that we represent is always skewed. They don't
Yeah.
let you know what your
The
value,
true value.
true
Yeah,
value is your influence.
Right.
Because that's where the world takes their cue and notes. Nobody knows how to get dressed unless they see us get fresh.
Exactly.
If we don't put on that drip, everybody else is dry.
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
So you have to
Exactly.
understand your influential power.
Right.
So when we boycott, it creates a ripple effect.
Right.
Right? Because now
Right.
everybody else don't know what the hell to put on.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In rap music, we make every one of these designers hot. Now they talking about they dropping Ye. We never knew who y'all was if it wasn't
Right.
for Ye.
Right.
We didn't
Right.
know who
Right.
y'all was
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
for hip hop.
For
So
sure.
hip hop can drop you
Yeah.
and your sales
Yeah.
decrease.
Right.
So Black America has more influence than any other people on this planet Earth as far as
Facts.
when people watch us and they do what we do.
Facts.
Right? The problem is we haven't turned that into control.
And we haven't understood how to truly value that and
Right.
understand the value of that. We understand, but we have to be more loud about communicating that to the people in position, because there's people with value that don't know they got value.
Absolutely.
You know, it's people with a voice
Oh,
and
they don't
position
know.
that don't even know that, yo, right now you can be way more powerful than you truly are.
Right. Like, look at, I don't think Kanye West owns all his masters, but I believe he has a deal to own them eventually.
Right.
But when you think about that, let's say if he owned all his masters, how much would that be worth? Right? How much is that worth? Right? So, like, when you talk about a billionaire and you talk about corporate evaluations,
Right.
but then there's true value.
It's product there.
Right?
It's shit there that
So if his deal with Adidas is worth $1 billion because of Kanye West, right? How much is Kanye West worth by
Exactly.
itself? So when we talk about evaluations, I don't think Kanye's not a billionaire,
Right.
because Kanye West is worth more than
Exactly.
$1 billion, right?
He's just not no longer
Yes.
attached to that system that they had. That
we allowing them to give and strip value,
Yeah, and I don't
instead
believe
of
in that.
assigning value to ourselves, right? So the deal we make with ourselves makes us billionaires in a way that we leverage our intellectual property, way that we leverage ourselves. So that we got to really change the whole framework,
Yes,
right,
Lord.
of way that we see ourselves in order to get the real value from ourselves.
Right. And
Because
that's
everybody
good,
else knows it. They say, well, if I do a deal with Kanye West, I make
This much.
10 billion.
Yeah.
Kanye West is now a billionaire. But that means Kanye West was already worth billions.
Exactly.
So that means that if he learned how to leverage that for himself, all he have to do is pull the billions out of the equity of his brand. Because if I promise you, and this is you brought out NFTs.
Yeah.
And Kanye, at one time, he said, don't talk to me about NFTs.
Yeah, he did.
But I think that was the problem. Somebody should talk to his ass about NFTs. Because think about it. Kanye West right now, he say, listen, I'm about to build a factory. You understand me? I can't tell y'all who the benefactors is going to be.
Right.
Or who's going to help me build it. But we're going to come out with this shoe. You understand me? This shoe is gonna be this ultra black Kanye West shoe.
Right.
You understand me? And the shoe is also going to be entry to this world concert I do somewhere. I don't know where it's gonna be.
Right.
Right. Or the pass is just a pass to whatever
So
project I do next.
Yes.
He drops that on the blockchain. Kanye West has the ability, right, better than any other artist in the world that's ever
Translate.
existed to create secondary markets.
Yes.
So when he buys something, it resells.
Yes.
The value of NFTs is when you buy something, it resells,
Yes.
but you get paid off that
Every
royalty.
resale.
So imagine if Kanye West got paid royalties from resale markets.
Oh, my
How much
goodness.
value would he have then?
Oh, my
I
goodness.
just saying, dude, right?
Shout out to bruh.
My
Shout out
brother,
to him. Work with Nipsey.
He created though a technology that can be embedded in the shoe, so it can track resale, right? So now you get the NFT connected to it. You buy the NFT.
Damn.
That's connected to the shoe. You tap it just like this. Now you can see who owned it. You can see everything.
How many
that happened
people
to
owned it.
How many people happened to it. Everything, right? So now if you want to authenticate, because we just seen on one of the StockX,
They had to
them shoes
remove
are
that.
fake.
They had to remove the
Right.
authenticity slogan from the
Exactly.
site. Yeah.
But if the shoes, and this is why companies are already moving into blockchain, right? They already utilizing that because they know that this is the way that they can authenticate their items. So imagine if all of them got it, you tap it, now you can see that this is real, right? So now there's nowhere to fake it because
Right.
you can see the supply chain where it
Yeah,
came from,
yeah,
right? Where it
yeah,
went, the
yeah.
whole transaction.
Right.
So Kanye West say, listen, I'm about to come out with these new shoes. They're gonna be completely independent. You understand me? He naming whatever he want to. 'Cause
Right.
We gonna rock with
Yeah,
him,
we going.
right?
Yeah.
How much money does he make on the blockchain? And he ain't got to go through Chase. He ain't got to go through no bank. Nothing.
That's so
You mean
deep.
direct to consumer?
Yeah.
This is why it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because those people that never had power, they can get direct power by utilizing a technology that allows them to surf and navigate a system. It's just business models. So we have business models, right, to where most of the OGs, they only know how to get checks from white America. They don't know how to create their own checks.
Right.
So we have a generation where we learn how to create our own money.
Right.
So they don't understand independent thought because their money has always been connected
And tied
to the
to
dependence
something.
of white corporate America.
Yes.
Right. So even when I teach, we got the BWO where I coach my students. We teach them how to utilize AI, blockchain, all these
Yeah.
different things. And it blows their mind because I teach them business models of how to implement
That's
and
so
execute.
important. Yes.
Right. And what I'm learning in America right now is our entrepreneurship IQ is so low. Right. Like financial literacy is important because we live in same way we live in food deserts. We live in, financial deserts, right? Where we have financial insecurity. Right, well, we don't have access to somebody who can teach us financial education.
Right,
Somebody
which
that
makes
can
you
give
scared to
advice.
move, scared to do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now you don't know how to move. You don't know even how to
Right.
calculate your net worth, your assets minus your
Right.
your liabilities.
Right.
Right. So the amount that you make, right, your earned income, the assets that you have minus your debt, that's your net worth.
Right.
So each person needs to sit down and calculate
Understand
what they
the
net
net
worth
worth.
in order to create a clear plan to increase their net worth. So if we look at your family last name, there's a net worth attached to that.
No matter if you calculating it or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when I look at these entertainers, they don't know how to extrapolate the value of their own net worth.
Right.
Right. So Kanye West can turn himself into a billionaire
Easily.
independently
Yeah.
off his intellectual property because he's made everybody else billions and he was the factor denominator.
So
in
let's
that.
be clear. Forbes can say what they want. Kanye West is
Don't
still a
matter.
billionaire.
That's if you operating off old institutional systems of evaluation.
Right.
New models of evaluation.
Right.
That's Web 3.
His
Web 3 is
value's
just-
there, bro.
It's there.
Yeah, y'all took a status. His value
Come
is
on
still
now.
there. Y'all
Same
can't
thing
take the
with
value.
Jay-Z, Beyonce, everybody go sell their masters to all these people instead of what if you put your masters on the blockchain and let people fractionalize
Buy
and let
in
people
it.
buy
Yeah,
into
yeah,
it?
yeah.
How many people go buy into Beyonce catalog?
Oh my goodness.
Come on now. So you got to understand that a lot of people got all of this value sitting in
Exactly.
their equity of their
Exactly.
brand
Exactly.
that they're not moving because they've been taught to, when you want to sell it, go here. go here.
Yeah.
Go to the people now. See, there's actual Chinese companies buying into, I believe they call it, what is it, music bonds or royalty bonds, something of that nature. But they're buying into music because music streaming is increasing like 33% per year.
Right.
So the industry is increasing every year. So it's a safe place to store your money because over time the industry is growing.
It's continue to grow, yeah.
So they know that they're going to get a certain percentage return on their money.
Yeah.
So instead of having your money in your bank, you can actually bank with your favorite rapper and say that, listen, over years, you're going to continue to grow, Future. You're going to continue to grow, Drake. You're going to continue to grow, Jay. You're going to continue to grow, Beyonce, or whoever it is. Let me buy into your royalties. That's going to give me most likely more than a 0.2% return in the average saving interest in a bank. You might be getting 10%, maybe you get 5%, but there's guaranteed value in your catalog.
Man, that's good game. That's good game. I got 2 more questions. What is Forex trading?
Forex trading is trading.
And I ask you that because
pairs.
every time I post, I got 20,000 of them people under there, and I'm thinking, what does that mean? But I heard you mention it somewhere, and I said, Keys must know what that means. What is that?
Currency trading. It's currency trading, right? So, it's trading between the different values of different currencies. Now, I'm not a Forex trader, right? But let's say, the dollar, the peso is worth, let's say if the peso worth 50 cents, right, in Mexico, but it's trade that against the dollar, then you got to give me 2 pesos to get a dollar. Right? So with currency trading there are trading the different values of currencies at different times around the world because they fluctuate.
So they're using American dollar to base that on?
They can use dollars, they use gold, they even use commodities, they use rice. So the fluctuating value of it is it's worth 50 cents at this time, but then it may be worth 60 cents later. Right? So now they got a 10-cent spread in that.
Right.
Now, I'm not about to give a breakdown for currency trading because I'm not a currency trader whatsoever, but we do it when we go exchange our money when we traveling in different countries.
That's what that is. Okay,
that's Forex trading,
that
right?
Makes sense.
So you may not get as much for your money.
Right.
Sometimes you get more for your money.
Right. Depending on where you are.
So they're trading different commodities to where they can get more for their money.
That makes sense.
But it's a futures market. It's so many different markets when it comes to that.
Right. And my last question: give me 3 people you want to interview.
Now, my dream interview, of course, would be the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Shout out to.
Oh man,
that boy, he's a monster, man. He's probably one of the best communicators in the world.
Yes,
like easily.
You said 3. Now I gotta narrow it down from there. Jay-Z. I gotta say Jay-Z.
You know, you putting it in the universe, Jay.
Gotta say Jay. Who's up there? Let me throw an interesting one. Let me see if I got to spin. Damn, this last one is tough. It's not you know what I'm saying? You got to pick a catalog.
Yeah.
Let me see. That Jay-Z covers the rap. Farrakhan covers the spirit. Right. So now I got to go something different. You done hit me with something.
Yeah, take your time. It's you putting this in the universe. Universe responding to us. We righteous now.
Because it's funny, I've been having this conversation all week, but to dense it down is different.
Yeah.
You understand me?
And I always say that.
I got you got actors, right? And I don't think enough people interview actors that have had influence over the culture.
Right.
So it's like, in that list, I got like Denzel, I got Morgan Freeman, Samuel Jackson.
Right.
A long list of different people over there in that category that just had massive impact.
Exactly.
Right. And then intellectually, I like to interview Neil deGrasse Tyson. I even got some white people on the list, like some authors and some scientists that I would love to interview. Right. Robert Greene. I would love to interview Robert Greene and have a conversation with him.
He's a great author, man.
Yeah. Dr. Umar would be a good interview.
Yeah, I can make it. I can get you in contact with him. That's easy.
TD Jakes would be a good one.
That's what I see there. And this is so important that we have that list, bro. We got to put that in the universe because we don't know who watching.
Right.
They probably watching like, hey, yo, reach out to Keith.
I'm waiting on Meek. Meek, it's on you, man.
Yeah.
Let's get that one going.
For sure.
I always wanted to interview Nas. Lupe Fiasco, actually.
Shout out to Lupe
You know?
as well. I got Meek coming too as well.
Yeah. Rappers wise. Who else? I know I'm missing so many.
Yeah.
Even the J. Cole's, the Kendricks.
Right.
We just have such a great.
I think you and
conversation.
Kendrick will really build on some shit.
That'll be dope.
Yeah.
That'll be dope.
Yeah.
Who's somebody that just opposed? Somebody that's different. You know, rest in peace, Nipsey. That would have been amazing. You know,
Legendary.
Damn, man. Jay Farrakhan. I never thought about Jay being my top 2 though.
Yeah.
But he is actually.
Yeah, he got so much to offer us. I think that we need to hear from him more sitting next to people like us.
Yeah.
Because the questions, the conversation, it's different. The pathways we're gonna go. Like a lot of these people talk to some of our most important people and they keep them too far up here. We need the information. We need the layers. Break that down.
Mm-hmm.
Come on down with it. Cause Jay'll talk based on how you ask him the questions. Right? So he need people like us to really.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be layers to it because the reality of it is that you don't get to have certain conversations until you talk to certain people. Right. So I can bring out different aspects. I like the way people think, and I'm interested in so many different things that I can expound on many different topics. Being that I'm polymathic. Right. So I don't even know if I can pull the third one out the hat, man.
That's what's up.
That third one is like 5 different people equally.
Categories and all shit. Yeah.
Because even in women, I want Lauryn Hill would be a dope one. You know, I love to sit down with Lauryn Hill and have that conversation.
Right.
You know, there's really a lot of, and I've been trying to gather a long list of women that I want to sit down.
We do need to amplify them as well, You know? And then your approach when you speak with them, I heard a couple of your episodes when you get into the masculine energy, the feminine energy, and how to appreciate both of those and how they can coexist. I think we need that conversation to be amplified. So I think all of that'll be dope, man. We gotta make some of them happen for sure. We can make that Dr. Umar happen easy.
Oh yeah. I think that's one for the culture.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to do that one specifically for the culture.
Yeah.
Right. Planning on doing Dame Dash interview as well.
Yeah.
You understand me? That one gonna be good.
Yeah.
Dame is
he that guy. He that guy.
Yeah.
He been speaking truth to power.
Yeah.
So that'll be dope. That definitely be dope. But I appreciate you coming through, man. Like I said, you know it's love, man. Anytime you need me, you know I'm on speed dial for you.
Yes, sir.
I'm showing
man, I
up.
appreciate having this conversation with you.
100%, man. Experience Podcast. Pick that game up and do something with it. Let's get it.
Hey, it's your boy Loon from It's Up There Podcast. Thank you for watching the video you just watched, and make sure you subscribe by hitting the button you see on the screen, or go to the next video by hitting this right here you see on the screen. Big It's Up There Podcast.